Hello everyone and welcome to part 18 of the Metal Gear Solid 3 European Extreme playthrough. And boy do we have a doozy for this part today because, as I mentioned in the last video, I'm pretty sure I mentioned in the last video, I am going to be taking on the Fury. And he is by far the most annoying boss in this game. He's probably actually one of the most annoying bosses in any video game in general. He's certainly the hardest in this game, and you'll see why in a few minutes. But anyways, the cutscene's about to start now, so I should probably mute the mic. So, back in a moment.
I am the Fury. The flames of my rage will incinerate you. I came back from space. As I returned, I had one vision. The world set ablaze. And do you know what I saw there? Fury. A great and terrible fury at being alive. Now, you're going to feel the scorching heat of that horrible blackness.
Alright, so I might be clearing my throat a few times in this video. Anyways, I should probably point out at the beginning that this video was really hard to make, not necessarily in terms of filming, but mostly in terms of commentary. I thought that it would be a good idea to have like little fade in, fade out transitions between one part and the next, because I die quite a few times in this video. I think anyone who's fought this boss can agree. He is definitely rage-inducing. It's quite appropriate given that his name's the Fury. So I thought, since that I knew that there'd be multiple takes, I thought it'd be a good idea to have multiple scene transitions. But of course, my computer being my computer, it wasn't a good idea at all. So what ended up happening when I made those transitions from one take to the next was that it kind of desynced the recorded commentary that I made during Windows Movie Maker and the video itself. Like, there'd be an event that would happen in the video, and then a few seconds later I'd be talking about it, and that's a really big problem and a really big desync. So usually I would like try to find a way to get around that, but there were so many little glitches in the video as well because I put in those scene transitions. It just made it all weird and all messed up. So I avoided putting transitions in this time. I completely re-edited this video from scratch, and it should be okay. I don't think there'll be any glitches in the rest of this boss fight, aside from one really funny one that happens like halfway through this fight, and I'll point it out whenever it's coming up. But anyways, what's so hard about this boss fight? Well, the camera is a bit unusual. I mean, it's always been a bit weird in Metal Gear Solid games, but here in this boss fight, it feels like it works against you sometimes. It's just kind of hard to like kind of find which excuse me, find out which angle that the Fury is shooting fire from or where he's really at one time. Because he has a jetpack as well, and he flies around like he just did. At least I'm pretty sure he just flew. Anyways, so the camera is a bit wonky. The controls are even more wonky, if that word makes sense. The controls, it really feels like it works against you in this fight, because oftentimes, as you'll see, I'm using the Mosin Nagant. It's the the tranquilizer sniper rifle that you get for beating the end. I don't know if you have to either knock him out or if you can just kill him. But anyways, I use the Mosin Nagant because it's probably the most powerful non-lethal weapon in the game. So naturally, if you want to get the Fury's camo, it's a good idea to stick to the best non-lethal options. So I use the Mosin Nagant here, and I kept forgetting a lot of the time, at least in the beginning, and a few times near the end as well, I kept forgetting that I would have it equipped. So I would shoot the Fury a few times, or maybe once, and then I would proceed to press the A button to get up and move, only to find out that if you're two-handing a weapon, you can't move. You have to de-equip it. So if it's something like a Mosin Nagant or a regular sniper rifle or a bazooka, you have to de-equip it first before you're able to move. And I never understood that logic, because you can equip it and de-equip it as you please. Like you can just tap the right trigger twice in a row. Or I think it's once in a row, maybe. I don't know why I'm forgetting things, but like it's in your inventory anyway, so I don't know why it affects his movement in that way. Also, the fire that the Fury emits, like, it's just really strange. Like he'll blast like 2 hallways usually. And that makes sense because it forces you to think on your feet, but it's really a pain whenever you get boxed into a corner just because 2 hallways are burning on fire. Especially because I'm really paranoid about the fire in this boss fight, because if you even like go remotely near it, Snake just like catches fire and receives sustaining damage. And on top of that, the fire is just really weird because it'll like stick to random places, like you just saw right there. Like, why are they on fire on like in the higher parts of stone pillars? Like, I didn't realize this whole level was coated in gasoline. It just seems really strange how stone is able to catch fire this easily. I just noticed there was a little hitch in the video right there, so anyways, yeah, here's an example of a transition. Like, I just opted not to have any like fade in, fade out stuff because apparently my computer can't handle that. So it goes to show how much I need a new computer. I also cut it out the unnecessary stuff that you didn't need to see. Like the first few times in this fight, I switched to black face paint and olive drab camo just because depending on where I was standing, it would be the best camo index, but it doesn't even matter anyway, because as long as you're at one end of a hallway in this stage, as long as you're at one end and he's at the other end, he's not going to see you as long as you're lying prone. So there's no point in switching camo in this boss fight. It's really pointless. It's just as pointless as using thermal goggles and night vision goggles, because all that does is waste battery. And if you're using thermal, it actually works against you because there's so much fire everywhere, and it'll kind of distort your vision. So it's better to just go in like, well, I guess the subtitle of this game, it's better to go in as Naked Snake. You actually probably would be better off playing as the actual Naked Snake without camo. But I guess that's kind of good in a way, because it doesn't leave any like outlying variables to affect the fight. It's just you and the boss. Well, this boss, not the actual boss. Alright, what was I doing here? I'm trying to find things to talk about constantly so that I don't get stuck in a rut and also don't get bored with myself. Alright, did I discover a trick here? No, I didn't. the first few takes that I did with this fight, I just like shot him like once, and then I would move to get away, and then I would get blasted and lambasted like you just saw me right there. And then later on, I discover a trick that you can do by de-equipping and re-equipping the weapon really quickly, and I'll show that in a little bit. Okay, so right here I think is where I discover the trick. I was just kind of fooling around with the controls. So here the Fury goes up, flies around, makes weird noises, and then I get the idea to blast him 3 times in a row like that. And look how low his health is. And then in the heat of the moment, I forgot to de-equip the sniper rifle, and I just ended up stuck in place, and I gave him a free pass to blast me with fire, so that wasn't cool. But on the flip side, I did get him to like just above 25% of his stamina. Of course, you can probably expect what the outcome of this fight will be, considering that this fight goes on for quite a few more minutes, and I think I just saw him like fly right past me. He does this little countdown thing, and by the way, did you see that? I think the Fury like made a silly little laugh, but because I don't know, because I can't hear while I'm doing the narration. But did you seriously see that? What just happened? Like, this is why I hate this boss fight. There's so many little crapshoot outcomes that occur, and it goes against you. Like, yeah, you have the controls and the camera, and like the silly fire stuff, but then you have just cheap tactics like fire apparently going through stone. Like, it's one thing if you're like walking through a hallway, you switch to one end, then the Fury blasts the previous hallway, and then that fire channels out a little bit into the next hallway. And if that doesn't make any sense the way I'm wording it, then I apologize. It's just, what I'm trying to say is that there's a lot of little things in this boss fight that really tick me off, like fire going through stone, even though you should be hiding against it. The fire has ridiculous hitboxes in this boss fight. And yeah, he just like decides when he wants to land in front of me a couple times. He's kind of weird like that. I wish I knew where to find more life medicine in this game. Feels like I'm really like trying to grasp for straws whenever I'm looking for life medicine. Your health does go up really slowly in this boss fight, and as well as in general in the rest of the game, depending on your stamina. Your life will go up by itself, but it's really slow. So you're just better off not taking any damage, because otherwise you're going to be spending like 5 minutes trying to run away from the boss fight, maybe even longer actually, just trying to get your health back to where it was before you got blasted. I don't know what I was doing on there. I think right there I realized that picking camo in this fight was pointless. I noticed another little hitch there. I probably shouldn't be pointing these out. I should be just like talking constantly, just so that the footage is like constantly in sync with my voice. Oh yeah, this part. Here's where the glitch is. So I got the idea from a YouTube strategy to hide in like a corner, but I ended up boxing myself in the middle of the room, and I just get surrounded by fire. It completely works against me, and watch what happens. The Fury kicked my ass so hard that he glitched my footage. I don't think he glitched the game per se, but he definitely glitched the footage. And there's a brief period in this take where the sound is desynced from the game, but it returns to normal. I think it returns to normal right here, so no worries. And then another bullshit moment happens here in this part where I try to hide in a corner of the room instead of the middle of the room, and then I get caught in the barrels, and then I try to do melee combat, and it just doesn't work out. I get like completely caught up in the barrels while trying to do CQC. And then Snake does this like dinky little kick. It's such a pointless move. Like, if he had like a roundhouse kick, that would make sense, but it's just like this tiny little that tiny little kick towards someone's toes. Like that would actually do something to someone in a CQC fight. Yeah, look at all this fire. Like there's no way that you can walk down those two passageways. So you have to think on your feet and decide where you're gonna go well in advance before the Fury gets to where you're at. Also, I apologize for the beeping from the life bar. Now that was quite a sight to behold. I didn't even know that you could knock off the Fury from the balcony. Now, I didn't get blasted by the Fury there. I was just like trying to walk up a step. And there was like a little tiny patch of fire that was on top of the stairs, and Snake got caught on fire from that little tiny patch of fire. It's quite bullshit, I have to say, and I don't know why I decided to run down this hallway. Clearly it was not a good idea. And I decided to go through with it anyway. Apparently, you can use a cardboard box in this fight, and it'll put out any fire that you're experiencing if you're like on fire. But it just seems kind of weird, because you'd think that if you had a cardboard box and you were surrounded by fire, then the cardboard box would get on fire. Like I understand basic sciences that if you separate fire from a source of oxygen, it goes out. But cardboard is pretty flammable last time I checked, so I don't know what Kojima was thinking when he decided that it would be a good idea to use a cardboard box to put out fire. Yeah, I think earlier I mentioned that he does a little countdown where he goes like 3, 2, 1 or 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't understand what prompts him to either start at 3 or at 5, but either way, when he does a countdown, he's usually at like one end of a hallway. Then he counts down, and obviously he does a blast off type of thing. And I didn't get a chance to film the footage of me taking out the Fury because I was really ticked off, so I just wanted to... I think this is like the longest take right here that I've had with the Fury, and then after that I just like kind of stopped recording and waited until I had gotten the Fury in a good enough position where I'd feel confident that I could take him out in that take, because you don't want to see like more than 10 takes in a video of me failing against a boss. It's just not fun to watch. But I had actually surprised myself while trying to take out the Fury, because I happened to catch him in his countdown at one end of the hallway, and I was at another end. So what I ended up doing was just blasting him with 3 headshots with the Mosin Nagant. Just completely annihilated him. I think he was at like a half health or so I wasn't expecting to knock him out, or I guess kill him. But I just wasn't expecting that to happen, so in the heat of the moment, I started recording again right after I had just taken out the Fury. So you will see the cutscene for the fight, you just won't see me taking him out, because I wasn't expecting to take him out, so I kind of started recording in due haste. Also, throughout this video, there's like a bit of a strategy that I had with taking out his stamina. It's a really long strategy, and I don't recommend doing it unless you have the time to do it. But if you just like roll into him, like if you press A or the X button, whatever console it is you play this game on, if you just roll into the Fury, you'll take out a bit of stamina. So that's an easy way of working against the otherwise wonky controls in this game. Because I'll be honest, I'm not a fan of the first-person controls in this game. They're really weird. Like holding RB to aim is one thing, but when you can't move and do it, it's just kind of a pain. I liked how Metal Gear Solid 4 did it. It kind of modernized the controls a bit without necessarily sacrificing the stealth kind of stuff. If you do happen to run out of stamina in this fight, I did notice throughout the video that there were quite a few bats flying around. So if you didn't have anything that recovered stamina, I guess you could eat those bats, but they barely recover any stamina anyway, so you're better off just like bringing a bunch of calorie mates and noodles to this fight. And there are some mushrooms growing in the ground that can recharge your battery if you really insist on using the goggles in this fight, but again, you don't really need them. It's just you and your wits in this fight. In that regard, I can kind of see where Kojima was going with this fight, because it really is the most, I guess for lack of a better term, it is the most bare bones boss fight in this game. It's just you and the boss, and you need to find like this boss, not the actual boss again. It's just you and this guy in a series of corridors. You don't need to worry on fancy equipment. You don't need to worry about changing your camo. You don't need to worry about directional mic or any of that crap. It's just you and the Fury, one-on-one, mano a mano. And I like that idea, but as you've seen throughout this video, between my actual crap skill at this game and the actual crap elements that go into screwing me over half of the takes in this boss fight, it's kind of a crapshoot at best, this whole boss fight. Between like the patches of fire that never go away. Oh yeah, right here, actually the footage might be desynced, so I probably shouldn't say like right here, but anyways, like I lie down on the ground and equip the Mosa Nagant, and I miss not once but twice, and I had 2 clear opportunities to shoot him there, and I just ended up raging at myself because I was so angry that I missed like 2 clear as day headshots. Well, it could have been 3, because if you nail the first one, he kind of stays in place for a second or 2. And by the way, I apologize for like being slow and uploading my videos. I really do want to make more, and I am going to make more now actually, because my schoolwork is winding down for the semester. It's just a few days before December, so I'll probably make a few more videos today, but yeah, there's only one more assignment that I have to do, and then I have a final exam, and then booyah! Christmas vacation. So I'm really looking forward to that, because it'll give me a lot of time to make the videos I want to make, and just in general chill out from school, because it's been kind of weighing down on me lately.
Here I come. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. Fire.
Right, so that I don't really know what else to say at this point, because we're coming up into the next take. Oops, we're coming up into the next take really soon, where the Fury is defeated once and for all. So I try to do another little thing with the corner. It doesn't really work out. Throughout this whole take, it's just like a long dodge roll session. It's like a game of cat and mouse. Or like I run away from the Fury, then he catches up to me, then I roll up into him when he comes up at the other end of a corridor. And of course, he just knew where I was at the last moment, because he blasted his fire right when I was about to roll into him, which is bullshit. And I think this is where the cutscene starts. So back in a moment.
Boss, this is the end of the Cobras. You've got to live on. You're the only one left. I'm off to join the shot. Behold, the flames of fury. The fires of hell will purge me clean. Mission Control, do you read me? I'm coming home. I see the Earth.
Alright, that is the end of the Fury. I just put 2 bosses in 1 sentence there. But anyways, I get the fire uniform for defeating the Fury non-lethally. And I celebrate by collecting a few rats that'll probably be rotten anyway by the time I start playing again. But that's okay. You have no idea how long it took me to fight to defeat this boss. I think it took me like an hour and a half or 2 hours to beat this boss, which is probably shorter than actually some other people that have fought this boss, because he really is a pain to fight. And I just mentioned another boss, the Pain. But anyways, I celebrate this video by having a codec conversation with Paramedic after I save the game, of course. So the next video will take place in Groznygrad, which is the prison that comes up after the ladder. So, until then, we get to enjoy a moment between Snake and Paramedic.
Snake, have you ever seen Jason and the Argonauts?
I can't say I have.
It's based on Greek mythology. There's this ship called the Argo, and it sets sail in search of the Golden Fleece. Along the way, it encounters many dangers. They run into all kinds of monsters, like bronze giants and the deadly 7-headed Hydra and the vicious bird-like harpies. The most spectacular part of all was the battle scene with an army of skeletons. It was like they were actually standing up and fighting.
Are you serious?
If you don't believe me, go see it for yourself. Then you'll understand the magic of movies. It was totally amazing.
Yeah, all right. If I make it back alive, I'll go see it.
It just came out, so I'm sure it'll still be playing.
Alright, next vid will take place in Groznygrad, so in the meantime, thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and stay tuned for the next part.